All right, folks, so welcome back. The big hour number 2. And before we get to Fred Barnes, some business to take care of. Yesterday, on this very show, I impugned the basketball prowess of one Barack Obama because I said that on the Easter egg roll yesterday, Obama shot some hoops and shot only 2 of 22. In other words, he took 22 shots and he made 2. And we just talked about how that was less than 10%, probably around 9% of his shots he made, etc. Turned out that was my fault. I'm never going to say my bad again if I could help it. What the heck? When did that start? My bad. My fault. Does anybody say that anymore? It's like, he could care less. No, that's not how you say it. It's couldn't care less. If you're trying to say I don't care, you say I could not care less. That's how little I care. He could care less means he cares a lot. He could care less. I don't get the whole thing. Anyway, so it was my fault. You following me? Barack Obama actually did this yesterday. Let's look at cut 10.
Last year. It was the worst shooting I've ever done. This is going to be the last one. This is the one right here.
Trees are showing. There you go.
There we go. There we go. Good job.
All right, folks. So the president actually, as opposed to taking 22 shots a year ago, or as Howard Cosell would say it, a year ago, he took 3 shots yesterday and made 1. So by limiting the number of shots, his average all of a sudden went up. His percentage went up to 33%. I figured that out right off the 33.33%, if you want to get technical about it. So he went 1 for 3. He went 2 of 22 last year. I stand corrected. I sit corrected. I have been corrected. Tomorrow on this show, we're going to have the head of a group. It's a humanist group in the state of New Jersey, where I reside, and they're suing. They're suing a New Jersey school district on behalf of 2 parents who say that having under God and the Pledge of Allegiance is discriminatory towards atheist children. I am so tired of the intolerance of people who don't agree with something, so they want to just stop it for everybody. So we'll talk about it with him, tomorrow at some point during the show. We got a great lineup tomorrow. Andy McCarthy will be here. We hope to have Tom DeLay. We got a guest list. You've heard of an A list? Well, this is the A1 list. What's that? That's a steak sauce? Yeah, I know, but whatever. And if he were on tomorrow, he would be part of the A-list, but anytime he's on, he is from the A-list. And we're talking about Fred Barnes. He is the of course, executive editor of the Weekly Standard. He will join us momentarily as soon as we get a hold of him. So we're working on that right now. And he has a piece out that talks about the November elections and talks about the state of North Carolina, and it says that as North Carolina goes, so goes the rest of the nation, and that's one of the in the midterm elections come November. That's one of the one of the races we did not mention earlier with Michael Barone. So it'll be interesting to talk to Fred about that in just a few minutes. Jeb Bush was at it again at a conference of education innovators. He was speaking at the it's Scottsdale, Arizona, and he said that he's calling for more guest worker programs and a path to amnesty for all of the country's illegal immigrants. That's how it's portrayed in this piece by Tony Lee for Breitbart. Speaking at this event in Scottsdale last night, Bush said the United States needed, quote, robust guest worker programs and an expansion of H-1B visas for the high-tech industry. Now, well, let's stick to this for a second. And tough quote, a tough but fair path to legalized status for all of the country's illegal immigrants and an end to immigration quotas for countries. Okay, so that means we let everybody in? I mean, granted, it would be legally, theoretically, but we just let everybody who wants to come into this country with no quotas, no limitations? All right, we'll get to that later. Maybe we will ask Fred Barnes about that. But right now, we are joined by the executive editor of the Weekly Standard, Fred Barnes. Hello, sir.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good to talk to you. Thanks for joining us once again. All right, great piece, very interesting piece where you focus on, for the midterm elections, the state of North Carolina, and you say that's a bellwether. As North Carolina goes, so goes the rest of the chips, if you will, for November. Explain that.
Well, I think if Republicans are going to win the Senate, and they certainly have a very good shot at doing that, they're going to have to win North Carolina. You know, there are 3 states that are open Democratic seats, West Virginia, South Dakota, and Montana, which are not givens. You know, there are no guarantees in politics, but they look like Republicans are going to win there. Their candidates are, you know, double digits ahead and have been for many months. Then there's Louisiana and Arkansas, which I think there's a little better chance than North Carolina to win those states, and that gets you to 5. And then there's North Carolina. I mean, it's a purple state. It has an incumbent, Kay Hagan, who has run into trouble because she was a big supporter of Obamacare. And Republicans really do need to win it. That would give them 6 seats if they won those other 5. And North Carolina would be number 6, and they'd have a majority in the Senate.
Well, how likely do you feel that North Carolina is going to be won by the Republicans there?
Well, I would say there's somewhere around a 50-50 chance, maybe a little above it. The approval rating of Senator Hagan is very low. It's in the low 40s, which it can be kind of hard to get reelected with your approval rating well under 50%. But Republicans have a primary and maybe a runoff, which would drag out the Republican campaign all the way to July 15th, which would be rough on whoever the nominee is, probably the House Speaker Tim Tillis. He's ahead, but so it's not in the bag.
Yeah, and you know it's interesting. There's a Fox News poll out today, Fred, that shows that if a person perceives both candidates as being relatively equal, they will go with the anti-Obamacare candidate,
Yep.
especially among independents, by 25 points.
Mm-hmm.
So that certainly could play into this big time.
Well, it could, and Obamacare is as unpopular in North Carolina as it is in many other states. But the winner needs, probably Tom Tillis, as I said, the House Speaker,
right,
needs to avoid a runoff if at all possible. I mean, that could be very bruising and reduce his chances of beating Kay Hagan. I know the Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, is going to spend $1 million on ads supporting Tillis over the next couple of weeks before the primary, and because they and others agree that winning now, getting 40% of the vote, is what you have to do to avoid a runoff. Avoiding a runoff is very crucial to Republican chances.
You know, am I correct? Was it Barack Obama when he went? I believe he went to North Carolina, and Kay Hagan was conspicuous by her absence. If I'm not mistaken, if I have my senators and states right here, and there was a big build up to that. Oh, she can't make it. It's her schedule. This was several months ago. And when he got there, he kind of said, you know, Kay Hagan says hello, or he said something like that, which I thought was just him doing it for spite.
I think so, yes. You have that right. You know, she had, as they say, quote, a prior engagement, unquote.
Yeah. So that kind of
I mean, look, one of the things in North Carolina, Obama's approval rating is right where hers is, in the low 40s. And if in her case, he's to be avoided in the campaign. You know, she's not running as a Democrat. She's not running as an Obama supporter.
Right.
She's I'm not sure whether I think she calls herself an independent, and I mean obviously she's on the Democratic ticket, but that doesn't appear in her ads and her speeches. She's she's an independent who just wants to come to Washington to be bipartisan. And
well, I don't know. I don't know how she's running away from Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid and Debbie Wasserman Schultz. They're all proud of what they did. I don't get that.
Well, they're not from North Carolina.
Right. All right, let me ask you about looking ahead past 2014 to 2016, if we could. And where do you think Jeb Bush stands right now? There was a Times story on him, evil Jeb Bush because he dares to make money. I've never seen one of those on the Clintons, $250,000 a speech, even at the waste management convention where the shoe was thrown at her. But Jeb Bush, has he hurt himself with these statements on immigration? He made some more today, apparently, or last night in Arizona.
Yeah, he did. And look, I think what he's doing is trying out what his campaign themes would be if he decided to run. And I'm not sure that he is. I guess my expectation is that he won't. I happen to think he was a great governor. He was a reformer on education and on Medicaid and a number of other things, cut taxes, and was a great governor of Florida. But there is certainly strong opposition to his views on immigration. They are not let anybody in, but as somebody was saying earlier on your show, there's some strident opposition to them, and I think he's just trying out his views and what he would run on as sort of a trial balloon to see what happens. And I would say so far the reception has not been very good. I mean, his supporters have been fairly quiet, and his critics have been very noisy.
Yeah, and on the other side, Fred, what about? Is the nomination Hillary's if she wants it?
No.
Or will she get a challenge from someone on the left?
No, she'll get a challenge from somebody on the left, and maybe some others as well. I mean, look, you don't get the nomination, the presidential nomination for a party just for your asking. You have to campaign for it and hard. She lost to Obama. I'm not sure what her age is. I guess it's sexist to bring that up. And she's a grandmother now, and then
not yet. She will be a grandmother. Yeah,
well, she will be a grandmother. Yeah.
Well, Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren. They keep asking her because she has a book out, and every time she's asked, she says, "I'm not running for president." But she never really says, "I will not run." It's definitely forget it. I'm not doing it. So, do you think she might?
Of course. I mean, look, there's going to be great pressure from the left to have their own candidate. I mean, the part of the Democratic Party that has really rejuvenated is the left wing of the party, with the mayor of New York and some others, Elizabeth Warren, and they're very noisy, they're very ambitious, and the one person they would like to see run is Elizabeth Warren. So there will be an effort to draft her or to push her or persuade her, and what would she have to lose?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Fred, great to talk to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good. Call anytime.
Thank you. We will. That's Fred Barnes, ladies and gentlemen, executive editor of the Weekly Standard. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Sean Trendy. He is a senior political analyst for the elections analyst for Real Clear Politics. We'll continue our analysis of what might happen in November, not too far from now, this year, 2014. Don't go away.
We don't just talk about the news, we talk to those making news. This is the Steve Malzberg Show.